views and opinions expressed on Geeks Under the Influence are that of the panelists and not of our sponsors, Amazon.com and TeePublic. Parental discretion is advised.
Listless skateboarding in a warehouse scene just always just ruined my life.
Bad I have never seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 because of my hatred for the first one. And when people are like, dude, 2 sucked ass, I'm like, you were fucking warned, dude. You were warned and you still went in there.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it. I saw it when it finally hit.
I only had that happen one time where I watched a second of a shitty movie, and that was Fantastic Four, Rise of Silver Surfer, because
Silver Surfer.
Dude, Silver Surfer. Yeah.
And Galaxus. Fucked all that up.
The Cloud?
The Cloud.
Yeah.
The shit cloud.
The same monster from Green Lantern?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The smoke monster from Lost?
Oh,
no. The main villain in this is going to be Galactus. I'm like, well, what's the budget going to be? It's going to be can we make him a cloud? Like, yeah, right. The main villain in Green Lantern is going to be Parallax. Yeah, we make him a cloud. Like, that just seems to be the solution.
I'm just waiting for that moment in the multiverse where they actually deal with Galactus in the MCU, and then they have like the multiverse, like old Fantastic Four characters come up and be like, you dealt with Galactus? It's like, yeah, it was weird. It was a big dude, and no, he was smoke.
Yeah, he was
a smoke guy.
In our universe, it was just a big cloud that kind of chased you. You were scared of it.
Yeah. It was like, you mean John Carpenter's The Fog? Like, no, smoke.
Yeah.
Smoke. It wasn't fog.
No, with the big fucking, purple helmet. Looked like fucking crazy. No, just smoke. Like, was there a helmet on the smoke? No, just fucking smoke. That's all.
Oh my God, I almost wish that it was the smoke monster, but with just the Galactus helmet.
You just see a floating helmet.
Like a floating
That cloud's dangerous.
Oh. That's awesome. Holy shit.
Nice.
I'm just saying, you couldn't reach out to the Robot Chicken guys, just get the big giant, Galactus figure and just superimpose that over. I mean, come on, something.
just
have somebody mouth on the toy like I'm Galactus. Like, would have been so much fucking better.
I'm totally sure Seth Green would have been up for that.
Yeah,
he would have been down.
And a lot cheaper.
A Robot Chicken cut, and it ends up being really good.
Yeah,
fuck, that's all it needed.
The best part was that weird, very comic specific, Galactus.
Well, everything's goddamn CGI now. They couldn't have got one other crew from India to do that part.
Right.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, that's...
Couldn't mocap a dude. Like,
you're watching the credits for the the post-credit scene, and you gotta wait like 18 minutes because it's like 8,000 fucking people doing visual effects between 20 companies now.
Yep. Yep.
Christ.
It's true.
But on that, we are very likely to see the Fantastic Four actors, which I'm excited to see Chris Evans reliving his days as the Human Torch. But it's going to happen because there's multiverse of madness. There's multiverses. They did the Spider-Man thing.
But is that going to happen?
Maybe. They've talked about multiverse of madness, that the rumors on who has been appearing on set during filming has been like absurd, that they're pulling back like Wesley Snipes for Blade. They're pulling back all these old actors from like the whole cavalcade.
It's called...
Wait, are we going to get Ang Lee? Are we going to get Eric Bana?
I mean,
yeah. Oh, I'm so in. I'm so fucking in.
Tire fire.
Best
Sam Elliott coming back as fucking the original Ross.
Dude.
I'm fucking down for that.
Oh, yeah. What's Sam Elliott?
Yeah.
It was like the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
You got him, and then you've got Chris Christopherson. Yeah.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, I think so.
What's old?
I don't
know.
He's grizzled as fuck.
He was grizzled then.
I feel like they looked at the opening weekend of Spider-Man and went, oh yeah, we'll fucking just ask everybody connected to the movies we're even fucking embarrassed about.
Yeah,
Chris Christopherson is busy sitting by the phone waiting for the soft reboot of Millennium.
Wait.
That he can pass.
Does that mean we could get a Dolph Lundgren Punisher?
Oh my God, please.
Holy shit.
Oh.
Dude.
Oh my God.
Right,
talking
I'm
to
getting
Thomas
a little
Jane,
bit erect right now.
Oh.
Talking to a Thomas Jane Punisher, talking to whoever the fuck played the guy in Warzone.
Yeah.
Ray Stevenson.
I hope he kills the Thomas Jane one.
Dude, we get all 4 Punishers. Like Bernthal comes in.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
You know Bernthal and Lundgren would fucking high five and kill the other 2.
Yes.
Dolph Lundgren shows up with the Punisher skull, but it's got the blue line on it, and they're just like, what the fuck, dude? On that note, we are going willy fucking nilly on the first episode for 2022 of Geeks Under the Influence. As we always do, we are doing a free play for the first episode, not have any kind of format to go by where we can just talk about our lives, about what's coming up, what 2021 was like, which, tire fire. But we're excited to just get back in the studio. It's been a challenge to find time to record between there was a COVID scare, there's weather stuff that we've been dealing with. It's been We're a little delayed on when we would normally release the first episode of the year, but it's for good reasons. It's life.
Yeah.
But we're back in the studio. We're here to talk all things geeky on this episode of Geeks Under the Influence Freeplay. Welcome. Woo!
Freeplay.
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 Things at work, and shall be again. A changing of the guards, the tides marching in. You think you can hold out, but you know you're wrong, so you better join us now. You better do it fast, or you will be dead. Lie down, no the gun, this is paralyzed the dead.
Not like freeze frame, but freeze play. Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free
Dun, 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 dun.
Free play.
Now that song's gonna be in my fucking head. The rest
You're
of the
welcome.
You know, we could
Yeah.
probably get rights to that for like $4.
Yeah,
No
Nobody
shit.
wants
Jake
just
Giles
give
is
it
like,
to us.
I need money.
Yeah.
Yes. Use it whenever you want.
But the way Free Play started is when we were starting and we waited the last minute to record an episode. And we're like, oh, let's just do a Free Play because we just didn't have anything to talk about or we didn't come up with a subject matter at the time. And then they became like coveted episodes because it's a chance for us to just kind of do our own thing, not stay on book, you know?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is basically the premise that started the podcast. Because like literally, this is just us recording ourselves talking about what we're
without
talking
a
about.
specific subject to
Yeah,
talk about. So.
Exactly.
Or when the property we're talking about kind of sucked, and after a while, we decided to not want to keep
Yeah,
talking
just
about how
completely
shitty the
regress.
property is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's some of my favorite episodes of the Free Play as we come up with the weirdest shit on these episodes. They're so much fun. And we've got
Oh, yeah.
a great panel. The seasoned vets of GUI here to do the Free Play for the beginning of the year. First up, of course, from Beautiful Disasters, Herr Grutz is here.
V Gates, how's everybody doing?
Doing great. Happy to be back in the fucking studio. It's
Oh,
It's-
Friends, hi,
Yeah, hi, friends. It's weird when it's been like a month since you record anything and you step back in like, oh, that's right. I like this.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
His co-host on Beautiful Disasters and also the co-host of From the Mouths of Madness, the gentleman that is on podcasts I probably don't even know about.
Still working on some. Yes.
If I'm not the co-host, he is on on the shows. We're talking about Fuck You, Hunter.
What's up, bitches?
Hunter is you're running around like a crazy person guesting on this show, Beautiful Disasters,
Well,
Mouths of
finally,
Madness.
the theaters slowed down, so I actually recorded with Herr Grutz not that long ago, and with Lowdown the night before. So catching up now that I'm not getting a fuck ton of people at the theater yelling at me all the time. So
But the end of the year, you were getting ruined.
So Spider-Man.
yeah,
So Spider-Man.
yeah.
So the week before Christmas till I don't know January 3rd, 4th, when people had to go back to work and
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
When we recorded, it had been like 5 weeks because I knew when Spider-Man came out, he was going to be a ghost. So we literally got everything done through the end of the year by like the second week of December.
Damn.
I mean,
smart.
we
No,
knew
yeah, because I knew he was going to be.
we
Yep.
knew
You know.
Spider-Man was going to be busy, but the forecasted opening weekend was 150, which is amazing and blew everything out. So when it did 225 or 230, that really that was a level that we were not ready for. So.
Especially when you were already short-staffed. So,
yeah, we were not ready
Is
for
it
the
the highest
150.
grossing Marvel movie?
No, it's the fourth highest grossing movie of all time. Endgame is still the highest grossing.
Yeah, it beat
Really?
out
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Well, it's definitely the
Yeah,
biggest
cool.
grossing movie of last year.
Oh, yeah. But I
Well,
thought.
no
You get the
percent.
fourth highest grossing movie during a pandemic says something.
Yeah.
I mean, that there's
It
a lot of
says
people that
that
are still...
people wanted to go back to the fucking movie.
That's what I'm saying.
But
People were tired of this
There were
shit.
still people that aren't comfortable enough to go back to the theaters yet. So, there's still a number that I think the numbers would have been higher if we were...
I always determine opening weekend when, especially now with digital, you'll have a fuck ton of shows. I mean, it's like every 20 minutes. And when people literally are still having to sit somewhere near the front of the screen because they're even every 20
Mhm.
minutes, it's that packed. That tells you how fucking busy the movie is. We go, yeah, I guess we'll just sit in front. I'm like, you sure? Like, you don't want to wait for no, I want to see it now.
Did you have
That's
half
the
your
determ-
theaters running that shit?
What's that?
Did you have half your theaters running that shit?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying is opening weekend, it was like every 20 minutes from when we opened to we closed.
Holy
You
shit.
pretty much, you just randomly showed up and you were either 20 minutes early on time or like 20 it didn't matter. That's how
Good Lord.
fucking, and it's still, we were packing in every show.
Damn.
No, it is.
Well, moving on to our next panelist, your co-host on From the Mouths of Madness, my co-host on this show, and partner in crime running this network. We've got Lowdown Brown MacGyver.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, bud?
Hey.
Yay! Back in the studio.
Seriously.
Whoop, whoop.
I missed like the last couple GUI episodes, I feel like.
Well, the holiday season is always buck wild, and with people's schedules, it gets a little bit weird.
It's mainly schedules.
Yeah.
It's mainly schedules. Let's just be real.
Yep.
You know, everyone's getting older, you know.
Yeah, it sucks that as you get older and your energy levels decrease, you have more shit to do at the same time.
Yeah.
And so is it that, or is it you just feel like you do because your energy levels have decreased?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
There you go. Yeah,
Oh,
mix,
let's not
mix.
talk about aging.
Yeah, right.
We all getting old, man.
It's inevitable, baby.
I know.
Embrace it. Make the most of it.
Let's say
Be that beautiful silver-haired fox.
our contingency of people.
exactly.
We do have some Zoomer listeners, but the majority are the wistful nostalgia nerds of like 32 to 45 is really our fucking meat when it comes to our listenership.
Yeah.
Because they also understand as like collecting action figures in your late 30s and 40s, and the challenges that come along with that as your partner wants to put up like a Gustav Klimt print, but you're like, where am I going to put my Spider-Man signed thing?
Yeah.
That's true. Luckily, you got a good one.
I do.
And you got a Gustav Klimt, Freddie Mercury mashup?
Yeah, that's in the
house?
That's in the bathroom. Yeah, that's
That's
a great
good.
one. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a
the
great
Freddie
artwork.
Mercury I think, is awesome.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
So the man who found a balance for his nerdy and his RT, right?
Yep. Perfect
Yeah.
balance as all things should be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and also likes to whisper sweet nothings into the ears of 32 to 45-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael Bickett.
Not whispering is not the term. That's I've not been one to.
They turn the
whisper.
volume down low.
Oh, that's
Or it
it.
depends how drunk he is. The drunker he gets, sometimes he does do the
I
drunk
do
whispering.
the
like,
thing and
I'm so fucked up
yeah.
right now.
I think the demographics favor males too, you know?
Actually, it's surprising that it is definitely more males than men than women that listen, but it's like a 60-40 a lot of the time. Like we actually do have a decent female listenership.
I just think you woo dudes better than women.
I've never been anything other than clumsy when it comes to wooing women. So my idea of like hitting on a girl is like, I think you're pretty. Do you want me to buy you a drink and talk about Star Wars? And they're like, oh God, run away. So,
Yeah.
And you're yelling at them, so that right there,
screaming
yeah.
at them.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
not the best.
I
move.
like you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mike the Hobbit here. Geeks Under the Influence, GUIPodcast.com for links to this show and all the other shows on the network. Check it out. We are getting started with all the shows for the beginning of the year. So I'm really excited to get the gears turning again for 2022. But who knows?
Yeah.
Like,
We'll see how it goes.
that's since like March of 2020, there's been such a like you can't plan more than like a month out for anything anymore.
I don't know.
I mean,
I planned out for a lot of stuff last year.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
you
fine.
plan, but there's that like contingency of like plan just in case. But you know, if it does come about, there's plenty of shows that we plan on going to and stuff that got canceled or you know.
I mean, we took like 4 different vacations last year.
Sure.
Planned. You know.
And that's where they just kind of turned out where it was the right timing to get out there and. But
So that's a thing that's easier. But yeah, when you're talking about shows, you're talking about
shows.
events, you're talking about even trying to go to a restaurant that you recommend, and then you realize you drive by it, and it's closed because half the staff got COVID.
that was
whatever it
Grutz
is.
and I a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago tried to go to Liberty Public House, which is nearby where the studio is.
Good
and
food.
a great place, love it. And Grutz had never been, so I went, perfect, let's go, and drove by door. Note on the door, they were closed because of COVID, because people tested
Well,
positive.
we went somewhere else and got fucking badass chicken. So
we went to Hot Chick, so it wasn't too bad. But
Yeah, so that place is pretty good. Hot Chicks.
Hot Chick's solid.
Yeah.
I like Hot Chick, but Lily Pearl is really my favorite. They make some fucking amazing chicken sandwiches. They're fantastic. But
Hell yeah.
welcome to Food Talk.
I just need to like find like the really, really good places, to try.
Oh, for sure. The best chicken sandwich in town, in my opinion, is at Lily Pearl. The
Oh, the eatery is pretty fucking good.
The eatery.
The chicken sandwich at the eatery is pretty fucking good,
The eatery,
dude.
that greasy ass fucking
Oh,
restaurant.
I love that fucking chicken
Sometimes
sandwich.
that's the
True.
secret to
No,
it.
that's
is
true.
That
Yeah.
layer of
Yeah, I would
grease
say
that has
you need to-
flavor. That's flavor grease, all right?
You're still short on your soapbox. You need to bring it back down some.
I just go to the
that greasy fucking place.
I believe you recommended the eatery. No, thank you.
The
Good sir.
Eatery is like a Carytown staple, bruh.
That's for plebs. I would say, more than any other business during this whole pandemic, the restaurants have really been dealing with the biggest push. I mean, we've been bitching that occasionally we've had to go to remote or have to like move things around because of stuff, which is minor compared to like restaurants that literally.
Well, I didn't make it. We've lost a shit ton of restaurants.
And a lot of restaurants
yeah.
that like around the same time that Liberty was closed, there were like 2 other restaurants in the neighborhood that were closed because employees tested positive for COVID. So they're like, well, we can't like serve you a side of COVID with your food, you know, like we have to close down for a minute.
Would you like a side of COVID with your meal?
Yeah,
like,
make sure everybody tests positive before, or negative, sorry, negative before coming back out there.
That happened recently. One of my favorite breweries, Final Gravity. They just posted on social media. It was like,
Yep.
let me close for a little while. Sorry, guys.
It's I'm hoping that there is already conversation of like the flu getting into, or it getting into the same as the flu as being endemic, where it just is like you get your vaccines a certain time of year and it's like almost seasonal that COVID comes around, and that's manageable. This is not.
Yeah.
Like, this is a pain in the ass. So,
Yeah. I don't know if COVID's going to be seasonal.
well, endemic is what they call it, where it's that it comes in like waves, but that way you can actually better gauge vaccines and stuff, and it doesn't spread like it is right now with like all the different variants happening at different times and just one after another. You know, endemic is where it comes kind of in a wave a year. Or
Oh, yeah. But you can see that coming like last year. How like it's not going away.
No.
Like that was naive to think it was going to go away.
We're going to defeat it. Right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, it was definitely a best intentions and best hopes situation of like, let's get it now when it's smaller and there's like less to spread.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get in front of
2
it.
weeks to flatten the curve. Remember that?
Yeah, they were like, yeah, there's only like 20,000 people dead, so like let's just like fucking rally troops and like hide in houses, and then in a few weeks it'll be gone, which is wishful thinking, but it was possible. But then there were a lot of people like, nah, and then just, fucking exploded.
I wonder
But,
which people you're talking about. The nah.
But then, like last year, so I'm speaking with 2020. Like I was just like, it's going to come to where it's not going away. It's here. You got to live with it and find a way with science to live with it. Basically,
Yeah.
this is where we're at, because they're never going to shut shit down again. So the only option is to figure out a way to live with it.
Yep.
Our economy can't handle that again.
Well, I mean, the upside is that the Omicron is not. It's super infectious, but
It's not as
not as
deadly.
severe.
severe. Yeah.
However, I have, sort of traveled in my perception of this whole situation to a place personally where I give zero fucks about willful ignorance anymore. And
Oh, yeah.
I have no remorse for people that are contracting and or dying that have been on that, denial side or haven't been like, because even if you don't want to get it, just get it for your fucking neighbors
Yep.
or your grandparents or
And
whatever.
that's the thing. We've all dealt with loss from people dying from COVID that were being safe. We're doing what they needed to.
Yeah.
But when your neighbors, the people you run across on a daily basis aren't,
Yeah.
there's only so much you could do. So,
Which is do what you can to keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
But
But
that's all you can do.
but when it comes to
And it's all you have control
if your
over.
It's
job,
about-
you have to be around other people. You have to go to the grocery store. You have to go to the gas
you have to go to
station,
tons of places.
It
yeah.
is about
but I'm
protecting-
saying all you can do is all you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you have control
right.
over.
And for yourself, it is, about protecting yourself, but it's also about protecting the people you love. And even if you don't love you or talk to your neighbors, they're fucking people that live next to you
Mhm.
or the people that you are going to be standing next to in a fucking store.
So I
Gotta do
think the solution, and I used to love this in Spider-Man comics, is whenever he came across, especially JJ was his number one. Whenever he would start talking shit, he would web them right in the mouth to shut them the fuck up. All we need is web shooters, and those people that we need to help them out that are not just web shoot the fuck out of them in their face. There you go.
No, we need
either
Nerf
talk
guns.
about why they didn't want to get a vaccine or wear a mask, or you're just kind of helping them out. Just real quick, just walk out of the store.
We need Nerf guns that shoot masks with the like glue trap adhesive on it, so you could just like shoot a mask onto somebody.
Right, but then you're walking to the store with a gun that like no, this is to help you out.
Like,
but I'm saying the spider shooters, you literally just it's under your wrist. You just do a quick shot, just nail a couple people, and
I'm thinking of a mashup. You remember there was a SNL skit with Andy Samberg where it was like punching people before eating.
Oh yeah.
Where instead of doing that, they're just slapping, just like you said, a mask with glue on it on their face right before they talk or cough with the same music. That shit would be fucking hilarious.
Oh my god. Or just have the fucking the fucking what was it, laugh-in music.
Yakety sax.
Yakety sax
from
playing
Benny
in the back.
Hill.
Yes, that's what it is.
Fuck yeah.
I don't technically endorse this behavior on anybody listening to this.
Not encouraging this actually.
Is simply a joke that I don't
Obviously,
endorse.
It's depressing that we're, still talking about COVID on the third year of COVID happening. But,
I think it's just more fingers crossed that we're last year we started to get some of the stuff back that we didn't think we ever had to appreciate, like cons and shows and things like that. So,
hey geeks, we'll get back to the episode in just a second, but first I want to talk about our sponsors real quick. First up, of course, is Amazon.com, the place that you go for all of your household needs and geeky accessories. We talk about a lot of stuff on this show, and most of the movies and music and stuff that we talk about, even on this episode, you can get through Amazon.com. Just make sure when you're shopping at Amazon to go through our link at GUIPodcast.com, click on our affiliate link to Amazon, and that will send you to the website. Everything you purchase, we get credit for, so we get a little bit of money for everything that you purchase, and it costs the same for you. So it's a way for you to support Geeks Under the Influence Network without really having to do anything besides using a different link. It's immensely helpful, and helps us buy all sorts of new fun stuff for the show. So how about Geeks Under the Influence? Shop Amazon through the link at GUIPodcast.com. Another way to support us is to wear the brand TeePublic. We have a huge amount of different designs available through our TeePublic site. Go to GUIPodcast.com/store and click on the TeePublic link, or just click on the TeePublic link on the homepage, and that'll send you to our site where it's got close to 40 designs available. We're just about ready to take down our holiday designs for the beginning of the year. So if you get there quick enough after this episode releases, you might be able to grab one of those before they go off the site until next September. Wear some GUI and help out Geeks Under the Influence. Now take a listen to some of the other shows on the network.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Grutz,
F.U. Hunter,
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May
the schlock be with you.
My name is Amy Bogard.
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
And we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as, what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Hey guys, Scotty P here with Smash on your left. And we are the Geek Fathers. That's right, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent.
So welcome to our world.
And as always, join us
or cry.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're going to fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
embrace the madness.
Speaking of shows, we're doing a comedy show tomorrow.
We are going to see some comedy.
Yes.
At the Sandman. Sandman, ballsy. A comedy club in general is always a ballsy call anyway, but I mean, this place is done up. It's in the old Champion Brewing Company building, which is great. Yeah, great setup. I love that building. But they've got a great setup for a comedy club in there. They've had some decent names come through, like Michael Ian Black, I think, came through.
Oh yeah, they've had a lot actually. Yeah.
And we're going to who are we seeing? We're
Sam Morrill.
Sam Morrill.
I like him a lot.
We're going to see him tomorrow as a Christmas gift.
It's a great comedy club. That's what we did for New Year's. We just rang it in as Sandman.
Nice.
They gave every table a bottle of champagne. It was nice.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It was awesome.
They're
really good comics.
Nice.
Like, it's nice to see that comedy can still be comedy, and that's the kind of comics they get.
They do. They
understand
really
the line,
people,
and they make fun of the line, but like they don't cross it. But it's also, you don't feel like you're listening to a neutered comedian.
They get some pretty salty comics in there.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I appreciate that.
I do.
That's the danger of like people being recorded with their stand-up sets and then put on the 8 seconds of their set on YouTube or something, is that you don't get the context of the joke.
Yeah, because it's led up to that. He's like they warm the crowd up with kind of, this is where it's coming. This is where it's going.
I did stand up for a fucking decade. That doesn't mean that I'm like the master of comedy or anything, but I do.
We know.
Yeah. Anybody that listens to this show knows that we know. But in context, something could be literally the opposite of what it sounds like out of context. So just getting them by taking them out of context and having just
when
one
you
little
see
bit.
the whole set, and then you're
That's
like,
exactly what happened with Dave Chappelle. That huge hubbub about that.
Yeah, if you watch the entire thing,
if you watch the actual special, and if you know anything about the guy and have ever listened to his interviews or anything, he has no
hatred or issue
or anything
for anybody
at all of any of that community, and yet there was a couple jokes that were nitpicked over a couple specials, and
he blew it up in the 4 specials of fuck you. I mean, that's basically what he did.
Isn't that pretty much what Bill Burr's been doing for
years?
Yes,
that's all Bill Burr's been doing.
He just says, you don't get to tell me what I don't get to talk about.
Exactly.
I will talk about whatever the fuck I want, and you can just blast me on whatever social media, because I'm not going to fucking read that shit.
Yeah, I don't care.
Bill Burr does have the talent of being able to walk that line and cross it occasionally, but he does it in such a way where he doesn't feed the fire.
Chappelle's always fed the fire.
What happened with Chappelle is like he didn't necessarily need to like bend over backwards and be like, I am so sorry for anybody that I like offended, but him maybe talk about like the art of comedy and that this was the intention of his bit, and if people didn't take it that way, sorry, he wasn't intending on ruining people's lives with it. But he didn't need to like necessarily apologize, but explain like what his intentions were. But he doubled down.
Yeah,
he always has doubled down his entire career.
But that's why Bill Burr does better with it, because he doesn't apologize either. But he's just like, that's not what I meant, so whatever. And then he just doesn't speak to it, and then in a couple days it blows over.
Right, he doesn't speak to it.
That's the thing. Like Chappelle will talk about it in the following special, and then people still don't get it. No, he will make a point about like, well, this is what I meant, blah blah blah. And people still get pissed off. So then he's just
he does go into talking about this is what I meant. Yeah.
It's like I have really absolutely, I think probably the best trajectory in stand-up comedy in recent years has been his 5 now?
The closer was the 5th one.
Yeah. Unbelievable trajectory.
Yeah.
After, like we all know his early stuff. We all know Chappelle's show. And like
he definitely tripled down on that show. The shit he got away with.
The stuff he was doing back then was ballsy as fuck.
Yeah.
But like, after his like hiatus and coming back and being a more mature comic and giving no fucks, and yet being super philosophical, like you take that 5 special journey. It's really
and it does help if you watch them as they came out. Some people I think like bounced around, but like you see the comedy grow upon itself as it happens. But I will say that, that was one of the biggest things I remember watching the first. I forget what the first stand-up, the comedy special was called.
Killing Them Softly was the big 2000 special.
That was the first one?
That was the one in DC before the Chappelle show.
Killing Them Softly was his young one. That was a young one, yeah. No, I'm talking about the first Netflix.
Newer,
because, as an older, when he comes back, he is a mature comic because his delivery is reminiscent, but it's like more like, let it sink in. He'll like, if you watch him, he's just like, he'll do the joke and he'll just stare at people. The sink in, guys. Like, I love that because it's like, do you get it?
The level of confidence. I mean, like literally there's in one of them where he talks about, I'm going to tell you the punchline and build up to it. And that's how fucking good I am.
Yeah.
Like,
and he
it's
does
just-
it.
and
And
it's
he does
amazing.
it.
But I think, he kind of rebuilt himself because he walked away from the show, and for years it's Dave Chappelle's crazy, and all the stories, he flew to Africa. And so he just left everything and then came back to what made him known, which is stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And like to almost not even rebuild, but just say, I'm not doing anything else but just the basic in front of audiences. That's pretty fucking amazing.
I actually have slightly different perspective or viewpoint on this a little bit. Is that the first stand-up special he did for Netflix was fire, was great, loved it. And then there was one that came out right after that. It was like he recorded like 2 in a row, and then the
And
second one
I
came
will
out.
admit that one was a little.
And I think that was the one that he got a lot of flack for as well. Was the second one is where he
yeah,
that was
I
the
think so.
first issues that he had with how he was discussing trans people in his conversations and stuff. That one also, not even counting the conversation about trans people, is that there was a lot of self-congratulatory conversation on stage about like, well, this is going to get him upset, where like he was relishing in upsetting people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
though I do understand like the Bill Burr aspect of things, where if I'm going to say something that you're offended by, then have fun with that. Like, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Cool. No problem. Absolutely. People, you can say anything and people are going to get offended. Somebody's going to get offended somewhere. You can't pull back. Otherwise, you're doing rated G shit. You're like, you've got to have a line somewhere.
Otherwise, you're dry bar comedy.
But if you're throwing gas on a fire, knowing that that's what you're doing, like, that by doing this, you're going to be offending people. Like, that's asking for the result that you get. And then when you like feign, like, I should be getting this kind of thing, you literally said on stage that that's what you were expecting to happen.
Yeah.
Like that, at that point, it's creating the problem and then responding to the problem that you created. And
So-
that's what I saw from the second special. Not so much the first one.
No,
And
not in the first one.
And in this latest one as well, that especially talking about like the reaction to his comments on the trans community, is that while he was trying to break down that he had trans friends, he was also throwing gas on the fire during his conversation about it, where he would say something kind of shitty in the midst of the thing that he was talking about, because he still wanted to maintain his edge of being an edgy comic that can talk about that stuff. And there is a place for that. I'm not saying that you can't have those like edgy conversations, but when you're knowingly winding people up at the same time as you're like making like challenging that people were wound up in the first place, you can't have both. Like, you can't wind people up knowing that that's what you're doing and then feign like, why are you all mad at the same time?
Yeah, well, I think that was
That's trolling.
I think that was I think that was adding on to the joke, because he knew what he meant when he was telling the original joke, and it offended people.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any validity for them being offended by the joke that he didn't actually intend to offend anybody by. So then he's just now, okay, well, you wanted to be offended, like, I'm going to offend you now. Like, I think that's adding on to the joke, and I get that. Like, if he originally told the joke and it was no offense, there was no, I don't know, like, heinous intentions created by the joke, and it still offended people, because there are also overly sensitive people.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think that was him building on the joke. It's like, well, I told a joke that was not supposed to be offensive. You guys got fucking offended, and gave me a brash of shit for it. So here you go. And I can kind of understand that too.
I really think he's explained himself.
Yes.
I think anybody who actually understands his comedy, understands who he is, knows that he's not serious. And
Yeah, even with building on the joke, he's not serious. He just knows that this is now going to piss people off.
But he's also an entertainer, and he's not trying to stir up the community, but he's also not going to back down and put his tail between his legs and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for making a joke that, I didn't mean."
There's no malice behind. It was like there's no malice behind his jokes.
And that's, I think, what I was talking about with Bill Burr is the difference in how you handle that situation, where if you are adding gas to the fire, you can't feign like a surprise that you're offending people. If like Bill Burr, he'll say some roll shit. Like, he has no problem doing that.
Have you watched F is for Family? It is the most non-PC racist fucking
Paper
shit.
Tiger was a great fucking stand special, but it got dark.
It got
But
dark.
when people get offended, he's like, that's not what I meant, whatever. And then he leaves it alone, and it goes away in like 2 fucking seconds.
But I think the difference is Bill Burr wasn't associated. Like, it's all about Netflix had signed Dave Chappelle. So everything was directed towards Netflix, where Bill Burr, his stand-up is through whatever, streaming, whatever like that. And so it was directed. So Chappelle almost, responded to it because it's headlines. It's this and that. Like, it's not a slight mention. Like, it's Netflix, Chappelle, big time. And he's not the type to walk away, because he walked away before when he left Chappelle's show.
Sure.
And people just made their own opinions. And so him addressing it in a way is him saying, no, because some people were taking it, like you said, taking the bit without actually going through the full process of it and making judgments. He's like, that's not cool, and that's why I'm going to readdress it.
Well, I mean, in the comedy world, we just lost Bob Saget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and
God.
A lot of people don't remember or didn't know him really for his comedy. They knew him for Full House.
America's Funniest Videos.
Exactly, yeah. But his comedy was
Half-Baked.
always dark as fuck.
Oh, super
and
dark.
like he released a couple books, and like his comedy specials were, his form of comedy was relating to a story and then going super fucked up, like left turn dark, like almost like Anthony Jeselnik weird left turn, but it was kind of like more casual in a sense. Like, and he would just do it and then he would move on to the next thing, and you're just like, wait, what did he just say? Cock and what?
Oh, if there's any question, there's a documentary called The Aristocrats.
Oh, yeah.
God, and
yes.
in that,
Yeah.
and that's what introduced me to Bob Saget is not as fucking clean as you would expect him to be.
No.
Is that literally they asked Bob Saget to do this routine that's known throughout the comedy world as the Aristocrats joke, and it is, of everybody they have in that documentary, Bob Saget's is the most fucking hardcore version of that joke.
Filthy.
Yeah. And that right there, I was like,
So I really think
that's fucking Full House, Bob Saget. What the fuck?
like I really think with like we've mentioned the different ways of how they address it, and like by Bill Burr just not acknowledging it,
Right.
but like Chappelle's always acknowledged. I mean, he and Hunter, F.U. Hunter's, he has always acknowledged it,
Yeah.
and I think it comes down to when you're saying that it's wrong the way he acknowledged it. I really do think that now you are coming down to individuals' opinions on what is the right way to acknowledge it, which then it is an opinion, but you can't state that as fact as that being the only way to acknowledge something.
I think part of it, I don't want to get preachy here, but like
No. It's just
part of it is the fact that like this culture being so intent on social media, on little snippets of this and that. They're
TikTok and all that, where you get like a glimpse. Everyone's so ADHD, they get that glimpse of something, and that's all they run with.
And they get super mad about something. However, I don't know if anybody remembers, but in between these last two specials, Chappelle released 846.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which was a very strange comedy special.
On the wood, on the field and shit. Like,
Yeah, because he did specials like on, I think it was his neighbor's property.
It was on his neighbor's property where he had like a field, and he did a comedy special, that was ranting on the George Floyd murder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pointed as fuck.
It was incredibly, and you can see when he wants to get serious, he will get serious, and he will tailor something to a certain thing. And so that he can, make something about whatever. And obviously his Netflix specials are there to entertain the majority.
The whole, like, the wide audience, the birth.
846 was not a very palatable for most. It wasn't really a comedy special. It was more of like a spoken word piece. Really.
Yeah, you're right. It was definitely more geared towards a specific.
Because he was angry.
Yeah,
most of it.
Yeah, exactly.
There were some jokes, but they were few and far between.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was poignant. Like,
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it, and yeah. Anyway,
No, that's a really good point. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a conversation that I've had a number of times with friends that do comedy, that have been in comedy, about the punchline being a group, for example. And it's not that you can't speak to a group outside of your own groups when you're doing stand-up, because that's so limiting. I would never say that. But the way that you approach a conversation when it comes to groups that you are not a part of is definitely something that requires some wire work. Like the joke of Michael Richards just yelling the N-word on stage, like, over and over again. Well, There was no punchline there.
Well, that wasn't a joke.
Yeah,
that
was just
him
him.
flipping.
That wasn't a joke. That was
And my favorite response to that was DL Hughley being like, I wasn't offended he said the word. I was offended that he thought he was a comedian in the first place. Because
God damn.
there's plenty of white comics that I've seen use the N-word, but the context in which they use it, they know how to do that dance to make it funny and not offensive. The term is being used in a context where they aren't being like, yeah, that's what you are. Like it's not punching down. It's not accusatory. It's not negatively affecting the group that it's that the term was originally used to degrade. With Chappelle stuff, and I don't want to even center on that specifically about like comedy moving forward. There is a more open conversation about punching down when it comes to groups of people, where like doing a really racist accent is not the best, or leaning on really heavy like negative stereotypes about a specific group to land the punchline, or misogynistic jokes. Those are kind of going by the wayside. Those are cheap. They've always been cheap jokes, but people got away from them. The stereotype of the like bro-y white comedian guy that hosted an open mic night at a club is like a standard in stand-up comedy, where there's like open mic nights where, Jeff Smith with his backwards hat wearing like a fucking, I don't know, bare naked ladies t-shirt.
Oh man.
what the fuck?
Is like, and all he does is make like misogynistic jokes and shit. Those are going by the wayside because
I guess
cheap.
Andrew Dice Clay doesn't have a career anymore, right?
Well, I mean, he couldn't.
He probably does, actually.
Well, yeah.
Well, he's been in
He'd have
like,
a specific
shows,
crowd right
like
now.
movies. He's not doing stand-up, but he's been acted in things, yes.
I think the problem that we're running into is that I do agree with Chappelle in that there isn't anything that should be off limits and you should be able to speak to what you want to speak to. I think there is a disconnect as far as him finding the soft spot that people are offended by and then needling it harder, which is the old way of doing things, versus now it's like, if it's outside of your purview, then that's not exactly the place that you are of any place to be the speaker of that.
I think it's as simple. If people are viewing that he's encouraging people to run with that prejudice or stereotype, then it's dangerous territory. But in the same instance, I myself, I like when comedians are not pulling their punches, because that is what appeals to me. And so it's this weird, you got to find that middle ground that's like where you're not holding back, but you're not encouraging the fucking crazies to start going, yeah, he's making a good fucking point.
That's the tricky part, and it really sucks that comedians, because they're comedians, you want to make fucking jokes. They shouldn't necessarily, like, it sucks that there is a point at this point, because of how many fucking stupid people are in the world, that they'll take something that's so clearly a joke, or it might be a little out of line. But there's a difference between a little out of line and calling people to arms to hurt people. Like the joke from the early Netflix special where there was a trans person that like fell over and their dick popped out or something. He was like, well, like her dick is out right now. And it was very negatively toned in the way that he was referencing it. That doesn't necessarily be like, so beat up trans people. No. But it does normalize making fun of trans people.
I mean, but hasn't the last year and a half to 2 years taught us that some of the stupid people can be dangerous because they take a concept and run with it more than they should?
That's true.
And so I think there is that cautious tale for you. We know that's not a serious take. That's not this. But we also know a lot of other things that wouldn't motivate us, say, to start trying to, break into government buildings. And that's the thing, is that we're enough to acknowledge this, but there's some people that, unfortunately, and we've learned this in the year and a half, not too bright.
I think a lot of people forget that 100% Chappelle, his comedy is based on satire. Satire, harsh satire. We watched his show, and he's only grown up over the years after he took his hiatus. So his satire was going to be harsh, and not everybody got it. Some people did. The people who didn't got mad.
Oh, and Chappelle got mad at them that he was like, I'm sick of like white kids coming up to me and saying shit that they heard on Chappelle's show that they shouldn't be saying.
Yeah, that too.
Part of the reason he wanted to quit.
But I think there's, obviously this has all been, run to death. He's going to keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He will make his apologies in his specials for,
What he believes he should apologize
what
for.
he believes he should apologize for. He's not going to apologize for people getting bent out of shape about, this joke or that joke without context.
Yeah.
And
like,
especially, if they
for
haven't
one
seen
group
his,
to get upset about them making a joke, like everybody referencing the line that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Hobbit. As long as you reference the line, everybody's up for grabs.
Sure.
To make jokes out of. But like,
I think you can cross that line. It's just,
and I feel like that joke that you mentioned isn't really him crossing a line.
Well, when in the context of the conversation, it was the tone that he used to like the people. He misgendered someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember.
And then there's like a really smarmy, like negative toned voice, like it's she, it's not he, and like really.
It's probably maybe also he didn't like the way the person reacted to him of not knowing the like. So if you don't know the person,
sure,
and then you misgender them on accident, and they respond really shilly to you, you're not going to have a really good favorable opinion about the person. So you might.
If the response is, well, her dick is hanging out, what that suggests is that the negative tone in which you're using the voices is relating to them being a trans person as opposed to them being shitty to you.
But that same negative tone, he's taken Bill Cosby to task, other people,
sure,
where he Michael Jackson. He's fucked up a lot of people and a lot of things, and he's definitely gotten dark. And he usually goes, he'll tell a story and he'll get to that joke and he'll tell the joke and it's fucked up, and then he'll take the mic and go boop, and then he'll get into the next bit.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of his thing. But anyway,
I don't know where the line. I don't think anybody that says they know where the line is full of shit.
Yeah, nobody knows where the line is exactly.
There isn't like a fucking too far thing. There's just some basic elements that we can kind of lean towards. But part of the problem is, I think a lot of people that were upset about Chappelle's newest bit. It was partly that somebody that they looked up to said stuff that they saw as being against, them or their friends, but I think even more so is the normalization of negative jokes towards a group of people that either those people identify with or know people that are a part of. Normalizing where it's okay to make those jokes is where the fear comes in, because this is a group that gets murdered for just being part of that group. And
he also references he's part of a group that also had the same thing happen.
Sure. Yeah. And
so it's kind of like,
but it's that's not like just because
it's not tit for tat.
Yeah, it's like just because you're Asian, you can't say the N-word. Like,
no. It's not tit for tat. But he also he going into the joke, he does reference the fact it's like, hey, you don't just get to jump the line. I'd like he kind of says that in the joke,
but also he's like he will very specifically says like, I have no problem with these people.
Yeah.
Anybody, but they got really mad at me, and let me tell this story about this, and then but I'm also gonna fucking make a joke because I'm gonna dig in, and that is like the ultimate punchline. It's also the reason somebody like Doug Stanhope has never made it in the commercial business.
I was about to say,
because. He's fucking funny as shit.
And he just doesn't care.
He goes all the way and dark, and that's why he's like the comedian's comedian. Like everyone fucking loves him. Dave Attell bows to this motherfucker, but he's never made it commercially because he's just too salty.
Too salty, yeah.
The challenge is, where is the point where your responsibility kicks in as a public person? I've had conversations about, well, if they're not like a news person, then, they shouldn't be taken that seriously. But we're looking at, the president of the United States not saying overtly, go storm the Capitol and break into the building, but clearly hyped up that crowd. We've got Joe Rogan, who's got people to do DMT, eat elk meat, and take ivermectin for fucking coronavirus. You could say that Joe Rogan doesn't have any responsibility to what he says because he's not a doctor, and anybody that takes his advice out of hand, it's their fault. But you do have a responsibility as a public person that suggests things to your audience. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that with Chappelle where that line is, but there is a point where the things that you normalize, the things that you put out into the world, you do have a level of responsibility for. And because there isn't a hard line of where that is, it gets tricky, and people are hypersensitive to it. And some of that is unreasonable. Some of it isn't. But because it's all this gray, it's really hard to nail down what is okay and what is not okay.
I would say yes and no, because yes, a public figure in this culture, being a celebrity, has far more voice than they should have.
Agreed.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Now, on the flip side, anybody with rational thought should know that these are entertainers, including our former president was a fucking entertainer. Okay? So you're talking about Chappelle, entertainer. You're talking about Donald
In the
Trump,
last 3
entertainer.
years, the thing I think we could all agree with is we had a very quick fucking college experience course on just how absolutely fundamentally dumb the majority of people are.
Yes. So
Yeah, even
anybody
when
who
safety,
takes
safety became like a political issue.
Yeah, anybody who's-
that's simple.
Yeah, just
that's simple.
anybody
And then
who's
continued
taking the
Yeah.
words
to be a safety issue.
the words and the
Political issue.
statements of entertainment people as some kind of gospel or some kind of thing that's going to be like a cultural phenomenon, get the fuck over it.
Well, like there's one thing to say
Jesus.
that you can't pin Jodie Foster for Hinckley shooting Reagan. Like,
Right.
you know, like, yeah, that's absurd. That's
Now-
ridiculous.
Now,
That's
technically, my point is a little flawed because, you know, the entertainer who was the former president had actual power
yeah.
to affect things in this country. Dave Chappelle's specials do not.
Well, I think that's really where it kind of is breaking down. I mean, we are in the twilight of our democracy at this point.
Well,
Celebrities and people in power, they're kind of just becoming the same thing. I mean, there's celebrity like actors and stuff that are also advocates and activists. There's politicians that are becoming celebrities and acting and shit. Like you Joe Biden was in Parks and Recs. I mean, like there is this weird crossover that everyone's a celebrity and nobody's a celebrity. Like that it's this amalgamation where politics are entertainment.
Ugh.
That's why if you haven't seen Don't Look Up,
Yes.
it is scary how it is
100%.
satire and yet so fucking relevant to today.
It's
And again, the relation to celebrity, the
Yeah.
relation to just, you know, if you don't like the way things are being communicated, just change it. Just change it and you'll get a portion of people that go, I'll take that side because that's the side that I'm already with. It was kind of scary how relevant that fucking movie was.
no shit.
by the way, listeners, I'm going to apologize for bringing up the fact that I'm going to a comedy show with Hobbit tomorrow, and we got onto this tangent about Dave Chappelle. However, this is a free play, and this
I think that was an
this is
interesting
shit that
conversation.
I think it was. I think
This
it was
is a very
I think it was-
special episode of GUI.
no, it was poignant.
it was poignant. Yeah.
I enjoyed the conversation.
I always find it interesting when there's a conversation where we don't all agree or even have like very pointedly different opinions on a thing.
Yeah,
But it never
totally.
gets to us hating each other for their
That's because
opinion.
we know how to be adults in the
like,
conversations.
We can talk about
This is what's
the
missing in most of the country.
nuances of the conversation and still be just as
Yes.
fierce of friends afterwards.
But I just
yeah,
want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
that. I don't know when we're going to take our midpoint break, but I just want to say that before that point.
I think we're probably just going to run through at this point because we're at 50 minutes into the episode. So
Man, we got riled up on that
Oh
shit.
yeah.
We did.
We got
But it was-
going.
I mean, but it was like I said, it was good. It was poignant.
It started
was
with-
solid.
We're going to a comedy show.
Yeah.
It did. It did.
And then we're like, hold on.
Well, it was actually my fault because I brought up how they do have some salty comics, and it was refreshing
Yes.
to go. I felt like I was at a real comedy
You are
show.
correct.
Both times I've been there, I felt like I was at a real comedy
Now,
show.
let me tell you about the next show I'm going to in mid-February.
Are you doing the show at Broadberry?
No, I'm going to a live show of Everything is Terrible,
oh, shit.
which is one of my favorite
Oh my God, I saw they
YouTube
posted that. Yeah.
internet things of all time. Okay, these guys, we're not sponsored by them, by the way. These guys are fucking VHS like archivists. They just get VHS stuff, they watch all this shit, and they just edit it into this crazy fucking art, like video art,
Mhm.
and like weird like mashups of all this old VHS shit. It could be like training videos. It could be like
I mean, the
you know,
training video one
like
they have
everything,
is
like
fucking
it's
amazing.
everything you can imagine from like the 80s, 90s,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it is, and they make this crazy video art that's almost like, I mean, it's an art show.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't
It's
they
amazing.
also the ones responsible for trying to collect every VHS copy of Jerry Maguire
Yes,
to build a
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire house or something. Like,
Yeah, I think they've got at least a few rooms now.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, just trying to get every VHS copy of Jerry Maguire throughout the entire world just to build this, like, I can't remember what it is, but they have, like,
with
ridiculous amount of copies of it.
With the sleeve or without the sleeve?
No, with the sleeve.
Nice.
Literally, the cover art of Jerry, just Jerry Maguire. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I was asked was because, there's the metal show coming to the Broadberry with Enforced, it's local, Richmond boys.
Ooh, nice.
And, Gatekeeper, and then Municipal Waste, Richmond boys, and then Obituary is the headline.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I bought the ticket for that like 3 days ago.
God damn, Obituary is so solid still.
There's also
I watched the live show that they did earlier this year. I'm like, holy fuck.
I think
earlier,
the Circle
late
Jerk show is coming to Broadberry as well, right?
Circle Jerks, 7 seconds, and Negative Approach. I don't know 7 seconds, but I know Negative Approach and.
7 seconds is very good. Very.
I saw their show. It was the two of them. Municipal Waste with Negative Approach, Circle Jerks at.
Oh, you went to the Norva one in December.
Norva, yeah. And I knew Geekfather, Scotty P, was going to go to the DC show.
And that's what,
but then
April?
And then they added a Richmond show like a few days later. So he's
I'm doing,
I think he's probably just going to do the Richmond show.
Just sell the DC one.
Nice.
So, I mean, even though the venue, it's Black Cat. I love the Black Cat.
Black
it's such a
Cat's
good
great.
venue.
I haven't been there in a while.
I think the last band I saw was with me, you, and Ali. Went to see Helmet.
When they covered the whole video.
It was just them, and they did like
that was
2 hours.
5 or 6 years ago. Wasn't it?
Dude. This last time, that was the last time.
Set?
Yeah, they did the entire Betty album, and then they did another set of just greatest hits.
Oh, hold on.
You invited me to that.
Just Another Victim.
I'm so
and they covered Just Another Victim.
Yeah, they did. She was awesome. And we got to talk to Paige Hathaway for 30 minutes after the show.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
He was like packing up his shit, and I was just like, hey, I'm a nerd. I like your music.
And that's the thing. We've started to build up is fucking shows again.
Yay.
God damn.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. And then Sky and I are going to Overkill with Prong opening in Maryland. We both
snap
got
your finger, snap your neck. Prong?
Fuck yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
2020, for Christmas I had gotten Amy and I tickets to see Against Me at the Broadberry on the 19th of March. The 17th of March is when she got furloughed at her job, and they posted on Against Me like, we're canceling the rest of our shows. They had done the show on the 16th. On the 17th, we were like, nah. 19th is when our show was. We were like that fucking close to seeing him, and missed out on Black Flag.
Black Flag. That's right.
There was like another
but
show
that was
too.
the fake Black Flag.
Yeah, well,
that's true.
Yeah,
it was, but it was TSOL too, and it was, as far as I know, it was real. It was Grisham TSOL.
Grisham, Grisham was on that. So
yeah, but wasn't it like the Mike Vallely Black Flag or something? Like who? Which?
So if you get fake Black Flag, you get real TSOL. Goddammit! Like fuck.
I mean, it's still gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it was gonna be a good time.
I mean, I saw the last time the Misfits came through. Like Dez was in the Misfits, and they basically did half Misfits songs, half Black Flag songs, and it was just like a cover show. So.
I never need to see the Misfits again because Hunter and Ali got to go see Danzig do an entire set and then come out with Doyle and do an entire Misfits set, and that's all the Misfits I need. Because that's
later
all
on the year, the Misfits were at Barbecue,
and it was terrible.
And Jerry should never be allowed to sing.
Ever.
I mean, no. I saw Glenn and Doyle do an entire set. I'm satiated.
So it looked like Doyle and Doyle's dad on stage. Yeah.
Doyle broke like four. I felt like he broke like 4 guitars because you just kept seeing him handing his guitar to the guitar tech. He just kept smashing the shit out of his guitar.
Oh, that's because he's a damn brute and he just pounds his shit.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, also he's got like a contract with somebody that they do like the resin cast guitars for him that are all fucked and weird looking. So he just has probably like some resin molds in the back to just build him a new guitar whenever he needs it.
Yeah.
He also punches guitars. You see him just like,
That's his thing, man. He likes it.
Yeah.
That's vegan rage, I think is what that is.
Vegan rage? Doyle's vegan?
Doyle's been vegan.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how the fuck he's that big and he's vegan.
Doyle's been with the second female lead singer of Arch Enemy for like a million years.
The newest one, the not as good one?
The not as good one, yeah.
I'm just saying, she's not as good.
He must be eating avocados with the skin on, just swallowing them whole.
In the pit, just No, I mean, she's good. Don't get me wrong. That was wrong. She is an awesome vocalist. She's just not as good as the original. Just saying.
Yeah, agreed.
Just saying.
On the second part, that's going to be where we're doing the what we're drinking and all that, and hanging out and finishing up, just shooting the shit, basically.
Fuck yeah.
Less Dave Chappelle talk, I think.
I think we definitely need to treat this
we
more
got
of
that
like
out.
a...
Yeah,
we got it out.
so-
We get it out. Good breathing out. All right.
We
good.
actually, that was good. We actually, none of us really got to talk about that because when it hit, and when I think about everyone had seen it, it was like so far in, because I didn't watch it till I think I was off in November for Thanksgiving, and that's around the time I watched it. So I didn't even watch it till it had been out for a while.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I watched
yeah, I waited just because I had other shit to watch.
But thanks for listening. Check out next week for the second part on this free play that we're doing here as opposed to a GUI night. So definitely check out GUIPodcast.com for the links to all the shows on the network, including From the Mouths of Madness, Beautiful Disasters, Deeply Upsetting with me and Amy Bogard, and we got some news on that I will save for the second part about Smack My Pitch Up. We're going to be doing like what's been happening for the second part.
And Madness is a potential update later in the year for Madness too.
Okay.
Nice.
And Lowdown verse.
Yeah, so you want all the tea on GUI Network. That'll be on the second part here. So thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week for another episode. I'm Mike the Hobbit. Join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit.
Join us or die, join us or die, or I will swallow your soul.
GUIPodcast.com.